In the Pac-12, it's anybody's ball game. There are 6 teams out here. There's a six-pack of teams, and the odds say that pretty much any of them could win the title. This conference has college football playoff contenders, but I know a lot of you don't believe that. That's okay. It's important for me to be right here. It's important for 1 or 2 of them to elevate. We can't just have bumper cars out there. I've got to have 1 or 2 of them elevate. Who plays defense, I think, in a conference full of quarterbacks, will determine who wins this. Last year, listen to what Stats and Info came up with. Paper pop. Last year, the Pac-12 had 5 of the top 10 scoring offenses in the country. Yeah, pretty good. Not surprising, right? Well, defensively, things weren't nearly as pretty out there. Utah, as of this moment, is the only team with a projected top 30 defense according to S&P Plus. And they've got big-time health questions at quarterback. Now, for the record, I disagree with the S&P Plus projection. Bill Connolly pretty much invented math, but I do think that there's going to be at least one other team out there that lands inside the top 30 in total defense. But anyway, sleepers in the Pac-12. I don't think we have anywhere to go out here. I don't think there's a team outside of that top 6 that's going to make legitimate noise in the conference championship picture. So the top 6, in case you haven't been paying attention: Southern Cal, Oregon, Washington, Utah, Oregon State, and UCLA. JP Poll is very high on both teams from Oregon. Just let me spoil the ending for you there. Do you really think that Cal, either of the Arizona teams, Stanford, Washington State, or Colorado are going to be a factor there? I don't. I just don't. If you disagree, more power to you. Hopefully you're right. It's going to be very fun to watch Jaden Rashada start at quarterback for Arizona State. It's going to be very fun to watch Travis Hunter play both ways, probably at a really high level for Colorado, but I don't think those teams are going to make noise. But here's where I differ from the AP poll. If you're asking me for the tiers of teams in the Pac-12, I think it's Oregon and USC in Tier 1, and that's it. And then I go Tier 2, and I got Oregon State and Utah and UCLA and Washington. But I wonder, is Tier 1 bigger than that? Is it smaller than that? Is there no Tier 1? Is it just a bunch of above-average teams in Tier 2? Well, that's what we get to conference championship predictions for, right? So the conference championship picture in the Pac-12, it may not emerge until later in the year, especially with USC not even entering the meat of their schedule until mid-October. But you know where I'm going with this? I think Oregon's the most underrated team in the Pac-12, AP versus JP poll. I'm putting Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. I'm putting UCLA in the Pac-12 championship game. More on that in a second. And I think Oregon and Dan Lanning will take it over Chip Kelly and the UCLA Bruins when the dust settles out there in Las Vegas. UCLA is going to raise some eyebrows here. Couple of things. They keep getting better. They've got their quarterback situation worked out. And that doesn't mean that the guy who starts week 1 is going to be starting in week 9. It could be the opposite. That's the point. They've got all the insurance they need with Garbers, and I think he'll probably start at the beginning of the year. And if he goes wire to wire, that means he played well enough. And he does. If he doesn't, it means that Dante Moore had what it took to overtake QB1, which is all the better for them. They have fortified their lines of scrimmage. They went and got really, really good high-level help in the portal at the running back position. They, unlike some of these other teams in the top tier, only play, I think, 3 of the other top 5 teams in the top half of the league. All the rest of them play either 4 of them or all 5 of them. And I think that by the end of the year, you're going to look at UCLA and say, a lot better than I thought they'd be. But I think Oregon's a lot better than you think they'll be on both lines of scrimmage, including the offensive line, where Preview Magazine syndrome, or PMS, would lead you to believe that's going to be a weakness for them. Offensive line is not going to be a weakness for Oregon. Defensive line and defensive personnel and versatility is going to allow them to be a lot more multiple on that side of the ball than they were last year. And Bo Nix is still there. And so I think they're going to not only win the league, I think they're also going to be in playoff contention. I think it's going to be a really, really good year for Oregon in their last year in the Pac-12.